OMG, let's revise 1.5 plants. Okay, so we've got 4 questions here with the topic. Pause the video and have a go at those. Okay, over to the answers then. So question number 1, equation for photosynthesis. We've got carbon dioxide and water are raw materials facilitated with sunlight and chlorophyll that then produces the products of glucose and oxygen. Number 2, name the uses of glucose. We've got storage of starch, respiration, make seeds, make proteins or protein synthesis, make fruits and oils. Number 3, describe how to test a starch for leaf. So the first part that we do is we boil the leaf to kill the leaf, place the leaf in ethanol to remove any chlorophyll, place in water to soften the leaf, place on a spotting towel and add iodine, and then if starch is present, iodine is going to result in a positive test of going from brown orange to blue-black. Question number 4, name 3 limiting factors. So we have carbon dioxide, light intensity and temperature. Now on to some past paper questions on the plant topic. Pause the video, have a go, we'll go through the answers. Okay, so first, part A, complete the word equation for photosynthesis, shown below. You've got carbon dioxide and water for the first mark, gives glucose plus oxygen for the second mark. In part B, we're given, within the experiments, we've got experiment A, B, C, and D, to investigate the conditions needed for photosynthesis. We're asked to complete a table by placing a tick or a cross in each box to show the presence or absence of starch. In A, it's going to be a cross, okay, there's going to be no starch present, and because it is covered in thick black paper, okay, so not letting the light in to be able to photosynthesize. In B, okay, it produces carbon dioxide, so you've got that raw material along with water in order to photosynthesize, so a tick. In part C, here, it contains a chemical that absorbs carbon dioxide. So the plant needs that to be able to photosynthesize. So that is a cross. There's going to be no presence of starch. And finally, D, also a cross because it absorbs carbon dioxide, but it also is covered in thick black paper. In section 2, it says the results from which two experiments should be compared to show that carbon dioxide is needed for photosynthesis. That is B and C. We can see here that the only thing that's changed, all other variables being controlled, is whether it contains a chemical that absorbs or produces carbon dioxide. Okay, because that's going to show a clear comparison. Okay, and then the second part of this, light is needed for photosynthesis. That's between A and B. When we have a look at the experiments, we can see that this one is not covered in any thick black paper, whereas experiment A is. Okay, and then the chemical, it does produce carbon dioxide for each of those, so that's consistent with our control. Okay, some more past paper questions, including 6 mark on the left-hand side for a method involved in testing a leaf for the presence of starch. Pause the video, have a go at those, and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so with the 6 marker, I've broken it up into 6 points. Okay, 1 mark for each. So the first is to drop the leaf in boiling water to kill the leaf. The second is to boil in ethanol to remove chlorophyll. The third, place the leaf in water to soften. The fourth, spread the leaf onto a white tile. Fifth, add iodine. And then for the 6th mark, if there's a positive test, so if it turns blue-black, then starch is present. Okay. Over to the second past paper question here. We've got a school laboratory with different apparatus, and it was below and left near a window for 4 days. Part A says state the purpose of the experiment. So that's to show carbon dioxide is needed for photosynthesis. Part B, state the function of the polythene bag that we have here, okay, and here in A, and that's to prevent soil organisms affecting the experiment. In B2, the sodium hydroxide solution, okay, that's within here and absent within the control part B, is that it absorbs carbon dioxide. In part 3, the apparatus labelled B, that's the control. And then finally, in part 4, the Vaseline, okay, that's found at the bottom, just between the glass plate and the bell jar, it forms an airtight seal. Okay, so we're doing really well. We've got the final past paper questions here. Pause the video and then we'll run through the answers together. Okay, so in terms of the first part of the question, we've got the graph describing the effect of increasing carbon dioxide concentration on the rate of starch production. So for the first mark, then it increases and then it levels off. And the second, this plateau point here occurs at 4% carbon dioxide concentration. For part 2, it says calculate the change in the rate of starch production between the levels of 1.5% and 2.5%. So on our graph, we're going to go from 1.5 all the way up to it hits the line, and across that gives us a value of 20. And then we have 2.5 all the way up, and across that gives us a value of 34. So the change is 34 minus 20, which gives us an answer for 2 marks. If it's correct, 14. But if you didn't get the correct answer here, you get 1 for your working out. Okay, 34 minus 20. At the bottom, a chemical is used to indicate the presence of starch. That chemical is iodine for 1 mark, and the colour change is orange to blue, black. We go across, we have, again, the word equation for photosynthesis. So just making sure this is secure knowledge here. So we've got carbon dioxide plus water for 1 mark, gives glucose plus oxygen for the second mark. In part B, we're given a leaf of each of 2 plants, so we got X and Y, was tested for the presence of starch using iodine solution. Okay, and you can see the results shown in the diagram. For a 4-mark question, and I've broken this into 4 different points here, a mark for each. X has photosynthesized, okay, because X has starch for the second mark. The 3rd mark, Y, there's no photosynthesis that's occurred. And finally, the 4th mark, starch is used up, or it's destarched. Okay, so that's the end of these past paper questions and the video. Really well done. Keep going.